The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us on a Finally Friday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Elena Rust. Alex has the morning off, and Kevin, as I just mentioned, is in our nation's capital this morning. It's day 3. They actually do fly home today, but they have a lot on the docket before that happens. So he's going to take us live with him and along with the veterans this morning. The City of Wasco is one step closer to getting its own police department. For several generations, the city depended on the Kern County Sheriff's deputies to police the area. But local leaders say it's not enough anymore. 17's Jenny Ha reports $5 million in state funds will help build a state-of-the-art police station.
And he said, "What color do I wear so I don't get shot?"
That's California Assemblywoman Dr. Jasmeet Bains recalling a conversation with a 6-year-old patient.
The number one comment that I heard from constituents in Wasco is, "I don't feel safe and I don't know where to go to get help."
This the harsh reality of low quality of life in many places, including right here in Kern County's Wasco.
You see homeless people, you see abandoned cars, you see all of these quality of life issues that unfortunately are just overlooked by a lot of larger agencies. Our belief is that with our own police department, we will be able to address some of those more minor issues that still affect people's lives day to day.
The city receiving $5 million, state funds secured by Dr. Bains and State Senator Melissa Hurtado, both Central Valley representatives. The funding will help the future police department acquire land to build its department on, says the police chief.
We really haven't advertised a lot outside the agency, but through word of mouth, we've been obtaining several very qualified candidates. Next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we're going to have another 5. And I think we have 21 or 22 in backgrounds right now. And our hopes is that when we get our staffing level to about 15, we'll probably make the changeover from the Sheriff's Department services to ours.
Recruitment a key concern. 6 officers have been commissioned so far. Chief Five Coat emphasizes his police department will work with KCSO to serve the community, including unincorporated areas. Mayor Martinez tells 17 News KCSO had its own staff shortages and couldn't fulfill its contract with Wasco. He says the next steps include logistics, like setting up a dispatch center.
So we've gotten a lot of those small hurdles out of the way. Now it's just a matter of bringing all the pieces together and, hopefully in the near future actually breaking ground on a new state-of-the-art police department facility.
Jenny Ha, 17 News.
Dozens of people across Kern County headed to the cemetery last night, not to mourn, but to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. One of the most popular events was at Union Cemetery in East Bakersfield. Grave sites were elaborately decorated by loved ones, including pictures and handmade figurines. Dia de los Muertos is a centuries-old Mexican tradition in which families gather around the grave sites of family members and celebrate their lives. The atmosphere was festive, with music and food, and above all, memories. One man was there to honor his late nephew.
He was lovable. He was a great kid. He was gone way too soon. It's a special day because we represent all our loved ones that passed away.
Organizers say the Dia de los Muertos event at Union Cemetery has grown significantly since it first started. Kern County firefighters were able to keep a blaze in Tehachapi from spreading to nearby homes in Golden Hills. Crews battled the flames on the ground and air yesterday. Firefighters say they were able to contain it to just 1 acre. No injuries were reported, and the cause is under investigation. Investigators this morning are trying to figure out what burned down a vacant building in central Bakersfield. It broke out yesterday morning on Chester Avenue. Fire crews say the building has caught fire before and was in the process of being remodeled. As you can see, the building was majorly damaged. No one was hurt, though, in this fire.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, Elena. We're turning now to our coverage of the Israel-Hamas war. Flashes of light could be seen filling the night sky of the Gaza Strip as Israeli troops advance further towards Gaza City. Israeli military forces have expanded operations and encircle Gaza City. The skyline in the Gaza Strip was illuminated by a bombardment of strikes, as several loud bangs could also be heard. The Palestinian death toll is believed to be more than 9,000, according to the health ministry in Gaza. More than 1,400 people were killed in Israel during that initial attack by Hamas on October 7th. Meantime, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel this morning, his third trip to the country since that October 7th attack. That also took more than 240 hostages from Israel. Blinken has a busy trip as he'll head to Jordan to meet with the king to discuss the humanitarian crisis there in Gaza. Back in Washington, the House passed a funding package for Israel, but not for Ukraine. Senate Democrats and some Republicans say the bill's dead in the water in their chamber. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest from Washington.
Landing in Israel for the third time since the war began, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is urging Israel's leaders to minimize the toll of war on those caught in the crossfire. He discussed his agenda before leaving Washington.
The United States, Israel, other democracies have a responsibility to do everything possible to protect civilians who may be caught in harm's way.
Blinken will push Israel's leaders for more pauses in the fighting to get hostages out of Gaza and humanitarian aid in. As fighting continues in the north, the Israeli military says it has surrounded Gaza City and is engaged in face-to-face combat with Hamas. In the south, foreigners and severely injured Palestinians were allowed to cross into Egypt for a second straight day.
We got out today 74 American folks.
An American aid worker among those who made it out.
Even in South Gaza, we heard bombing all the time. We saw missiles from Hamas going overhead. It was not a safe refuge for people coming from the north.
The bill is passed.
On Capitol Hill, a dozen Democrats joined Republicans to pass a bill with aid for Israel paired with corresponding budget cuts for the IRS.
I support the bill because I believe Israel needs to see people on both sides supporting them in their time of need, even though Republicans are playing full politics.
The White House, Senate Democrats, and even some Senate Republicans are opposed to passing a foreign aid bill that doesn't include more funding to support Ukraine in its war with Russia.
The president would veto an only Israel bill. I think that we've made that clear.
The bill is not expected to pass in the Senate. Now that the Israel aid package has passed the House, Speaker Mike Johnson is expected to introduce a bill that will provide emergency foreign aid for Ukraine, but it's expected to be tied to increased funding to improve security along the U.S. southern border. In Washington, Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Meantime, we continue to follow members of a local synagogue during their trip to Israel. Rabbi Jonathan Klein and Temple Beth El president Avital Anders left Sunday from Bakersfield and are on a humanitarian mission to help ease the suffering of those caught in the crossfire. As they told us live on Sunrise yesterday morning, they're helping supplement farm labor by picking produce at farms near the city of Ashkelon. These are new pictures they sent us overnight. Anders says Israelis from all walks of life are coming out to help in every way they can. All right, back here at home, Kern's Kennel Crisis. Kern County's 5th annual mega adoption event is happening this weekend. It will be held at Stramler Park Sunday, featuring adoptable pets from Kern County Animal Services and the City of Bakersfield Animal Care Center, along with numerous other local rescues. So if you're looking for a new furry family member, this is the place to be on Sunday. It's billed as the biggest pet adoption event of the year. Again, it's happening from 11 to 3 p.m. at Stramler Park. And coming up this morning in about an hour, one of the organizers will join us to talk about the adoption event. Well, with colder temperatures upon us, the City of Bakersfield Animal Care Center is asking for donations of bedding, blankets, and towels to keep the dogs warm. The floors at the shelter are concrete, and there aren't enough raised beds to keep the animals comfortable off the ground. The blankets can be used or new. Donations can be dropped off at the shelter at 201 South Mount Vernon Avenue during normal business hours. And by the way, pet adoption fees will be waived there throughout the rest of the year.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.